How to deal with team members undermining your leadership. Have you ever been in a bad situation where somebody seemed to be undermining you? Do you lose your mind, wait it out, or strategically outthink them? What's the right approach? In this video, I'm going to give you some proactive tips, some backups, and one grand key that you can use if all else fails. So let me just go ahead and start and say that no team's ever going to be perfect, and we're all going to experience at one time or another where somebody seems to be undermining your leadership. And it can be very, very triggering. But it's important to address this promptly and effectively. So let me just say this. I have never done well with getting into the mud with that person, right? One of the things, and this, I'm not saying it's intentional, let's just assume it's accidental, but let's say somebody's trying to undermine your leadership and drag you through the mud. The worst thing that you can do is get in the mud with them. It's kind of like with my kids at home. It's like somebody hits another sibling, then as soon as that sibling hits back, like we're all in one big mess, right? We could have just resolved it right at the source through noticing it and dealing with it properly, right? So don't get in the mud. So a couple of the things that I've really anchored myself to in the past is notice when it's happening, seek clarity, right? Which we're going to go through here in just a minute, and handle it in the proper way and stay above the line or go high. I've heard that before and I really like that statement. Go high, stay above the fray, stay out of the mud, handle it professionally, and I promise that you will leave this situation a whole lot better than if you just get in and get trashy with these folks. You know, a couple of the things that I'm going to give you one grand key here at the end of the video, which I'm really, really excited about. But if you always stay professional, if you always go through proper channels, if you always set clear expectations on how you want to be treated, and if you're always answering questions professionally and speaking in a professional manner, you should be fine in most of these situations. So let's go through some steps and then you're gonna love, like I'm so excited, I wanna give you this grand key like right now, but I'm gonna wait because I want you to watch the whole video. But let's go through these steps. So step number one, if you're dealing with a difficult person who's undermining your leadership, you will assess the situation. So you'll gather information. That doesn't mean you're gathering a case. I'm not talking about doing this in a toxic way, but notice what's happening, gather information, and assess it with clarity. One of the best outlines that I really enjoy using in these situations is say, hey, what happened? What was the trigger? Is my thought, or what did I think about it? And is my thought accurate? If it's no, that's probably not what they meant, then drop it, then you're totally fine. But if you're like, yeah, it is true, then you go down to the next step, which is, what can I do about it? And you might find yourself in a, I can't do anything about it. So like, obviously, if you can do something about it, do something about it. If you're like, it is true, but I don't know what I can do about it, then you'll start to think to yourself, what can I do in spite of this? And still find the win for them and the win for you, okay? So going through that process, if you get to the point where you're like, yes, it's true, my thought about this is true, and I can either do something about it or I can't, at least you've reached the conclusion that your information and your observation is correct. Second, stay calm and objective. Assume that everybody is doing their best because they really are. That's not just something so cool that I'm saying on this video. Pretty much nobody comes to work saying, I really want to screw up today. I really want to be a dirtbag, or I really want to ruin somebody's life. Unless they're like vengeful and something dramatic has happened, people pretty much come to work wanting to do a good job. So there is a social dynamic. There's a motivation here that is causing this to happen. If you can stay out of the emotional part of it and be objective and look at the facts and the data, I promise you'll be better off. So maintain your composure, approach it with a clear mind. 3, have a private conversation. Schedule a time to meet with that person and keep the information neutral. Don't say, you did this, you did this, you did this. Use the feedback model. Hey, I noticed this and I really want a good relationship, or I want a cohesive team. I'd like to talk to you about how we can get aligned. How can we align our goals? How can we partner together? How can I support you, right? Now be careful, because if this escalates, you will want somebody with you. Do not say anything, well, never do this, but don't say anything harassing, discriminatory, Don't say anything accusatory. Don't say anything too overtly emotional. Don't make any threats. This is neutral. Try to connect with this person and get on the same page. 4, in that meeting, express your concerns clearly from data and from observation, and ask how you can get more aligned. 5, seek to understand. Hal Maycomer the other day challenged me and he said, when everybody says go to the Gemba, go to the place of work, go have these conversations. But how often do we go there to really understand? Don't try and fix it. Don't solutionize, as Jesse always says, Jesse and Jen and Jess. Actually go into it with some humility. And this is what Hal said that really struck me. Go in with humility and try to understand the other person's perspective. 6, hopefully you're able to partner and really connect. But whatever happens, make sure the expectations are clear. Like, hey, I want to align. This is how I best work with people. This is what can help. Leave with proper expectations so the other party can really rise to the occasion. 7, in the moment, if it feels right, you can provide some feedback for the other person on what they can do better. Remember, anchor to the feedback model. I noticed if you did this, you would get this. Keep it neutral, no accusing, okay? 8, offer your support and see if you can elevate them in their role and see if you can find out what they want that's causing the behavior and how you can help them get it. 9, you may consider, and I probably just recommend this, just document the conversation. Just take a voice note or write it down or type it down. Hey, this was the substance of the conversation. 10, follow up and see if it's getting any better. If it's not, you may need to take the additional steps that I'm about to tell you. If it doesn't get better, you will immediately want to involve HR, okay? You do not want to do this alone. I'll tell you, throughout my career, I fought this over and over. I can do it myself. I don't want to be transparent. That was all wrong. As soon as I started to loop in HR and say, hey, I'm having some difficulty, I approached the individual, we had a conversation, I documented it, the behavior is still happening, I need your help. I've never had a situation where you can't partner with human resources or legal and come up with a better solution. Because after that, you might need to go into a realm where you have team mediation, where somebody comes in and helps you with that team dynamic, or you may need leadership development to overcome the situation and take extreme ownership, or that individual may need one-on-one coaching and one-on-one education. And if it doesn't stop and it's a blatant violation of the core values, the culture, and the rules and the employee handbook and the expected behavior, there may need to be disciplinary action. Now, you don't want to get to that point, especially if you're a supervisor, if you haven't documented it and looped in HR. If you call and say, hey, I want to fire somebody or discipline someone or send them home or write them up, and HR is like, great, okay, have we had this conversation before? No. Well, we're going to have to do that. Have we documented it? No. Well, we're going to have to do that. You're going to be really frustrated when you come to those steps and you haven't documented it. That's why I always say, after that initial conversation, if it's not getting better, loop in HR, document that, make sure they're on board, because then if it comes down to a write-up, or somebody needs coaching, or somebody needs discipline, or somebody needs to be terminated or transferred, you're going to have that documentation. You're going to have that backup. So know when to seek help. Now, I'm going to tell you the grand key. And this, you can do this without offending anyone. You can do this without ever hurting anyone. This is not manipulative. These are not spy tactics. This is normal, appropriate behavior. Okay? Undermining, and I really hope you're paying attention because this is the grand key. Undermining happens in silos. Undermining happens in secret. Undermining happens in the dark. I have been able to get rid of, not rid of people, but get rid of these situations probably 90% of the time by engineering the social group or the social structure. Let me give you an example. There's a dynamic where on construction projects, the superintendent will provide direction to the foreman, and the foreman may, whether they like the superintendent or not, may decide, I'm going to follow it, I'm not, I'm going to comply, buy in, dissent. But if you look at it, the foreman has complete control of the social group of the workers in the crew. So the superintendent can direct or partner with the foreman, but that foreman has complete control. Most foremen are successful. Every one of them are they're all good people. They all want to do a good job. But let's say you have a foreman who's a little bit confused, not aligned, not bought in, and is dissenting within the crew and is going against the plan for the project that you created with the other foreman, and is dissenting and causing trouble and becoming a cancer. The prominent social group is the foreman with the workers. I've been able to get past this by engineering a better social group. Here's how I've done it. If you create a worker huddle where every crew, every foreman, every worker is visiting with you in the morning on that job, and you say, hey, this is the plan that we all came up with for today. I expect this. Hey, foreman, please lead your crews in this way. Hey, workers, you should expect today from your foreman this, this, and this. You have now created a larger social group that under the right circumstances and done the right way will overrule the individual social group or will ensure more compliance. I have now neutralized the threat of dissension, because now instead of being one siloed team in a separate social group, now we're one social group and I have influence in it. So if you ever find yourself in a situation with somebody who is undermining your leadership, engineer a social group with full transparency that everyone's a part of, where all the facts can be seen and no one can hide in the dark, no one can hide in the shadows, no one can silo and secretly undermine in the background. Now that is not manipulative. That is just engineering social groups to where human beings and human nature can thrive and succeed. I bet every one of these situations that you have can be benefited by this key concept. And so there are 3 really great books, and I'm not even going to tell them to you right now. I'm going to surprise you with them in the description below. I want you to go down there and check them out for key methods that you can use to deal with somebody who's undermining your leadership or somebody who might be a difficult employee. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This works every time. If you need help, let me know. Contact me. We're your partner. I'm your partner. On we go.